What is going on, everybody? It is Frankie here, and welcome to my 2023 NFL Week 8 predictions. We are almost halfway done with this NFL season. Where has the time gone? But they say time flies when you're having fun, and we are having a lot of fun watching this NFL season, and I hope you've been having a lot of fun following along with my picks. Let's get right to it for my Week 8 predictions for the 2023 NFL season. We start with the Thursday night game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are 7.5-point favorites. Bucks lose a terrible game against Atlanta. They only score 13. Buffalo with a really bad loss on their own right against New England. I mean, how do you allow a New England team that has been pretty horrendous the last 3 weeks? Everybody's ready to write off this Patriots team, say Bill needs to retire, Mac Jones can't play, and you allow 29 points to the Patriots. You allow them to score 29 points. That is awful. This team has an issue starting fast. They always start slow. They average 6 points. In the last 3 games, they averaged 6 points in the first 3 quarters. Second lowest in the league. And they always have to try to come back late. It happened once. It was not able to work here. And after 3 straight games of 37-plus points, not here. Just a couple really rough. The offensive line was rough yesterday. Josh Allen pressured on 43% of his dropbacks. Defense struggled a lot. It was a tough loss, but I mean, whether or not Buffalo is a top tier team in the AFC, I have no idea. After this game, I mean, some of the losses they've had, the Jets when they lose Rodgers, and now the Patriots, not great here for Buffalo. But I do expect them to win here. In this game, they are, I think, a far better team than Tampa Bay. And whatever problem they have, they will at least temporarily solve it for this game. But I do have major concerns about Buffalo being a Super Bowl contender competing with Kansas City. But we'll see. We'll leave that to December and January. For now, let's focus on Buffalo. In this game Thursday night, and I expect them to beat down on Tampa, who has a lot of issues. Give me the Bills -7.5. The Los Angeles Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are 6-point favorites. I haven't really been a big Rams fan this year. I've tried to get into them, but I just can't. And this game, I think, was a real indicator today as they lost to the Steelers, only scoring 17 against a really mediocre up and down Pittsburgh team. Mediocre is probably the wrong word, but up and down is definitely correct. This team is so fluky, so streaky, and we're not able to get the win there at home. Dallas coming off a bye. Ugly win against the Chargers, but that's because the Chargers made it ugly. 4-2 for this Cowboys team. They needed this. Dak Prescott was talking about last week, 4-2 and 3-3. That's a huge difference. They now have 6 games coming up against teams with a winning record, so they've got to take advantage. Got to get every win they can. And I think here on Sunday, they will continue that. Rams struggle. Dallas, far better team. They're going to be at home, and I think they're going to show that here. They're going to improve. And I expect hopefully a better game from Michael Gallup. 3 catches on 10 targets. Maybe we can see some of him, and I think Dak will step up here in this game. Give me Dallas -6 to win at home against the LA Rams. The Atlanta Falcons and the Tennessee Titans. The Falcons are a point favorite. Tennessee coming off a bye. I was thinking about taking Tennessee here with that, but I'm going to give the edge to Atlanta here, even though that was about as bad as a performance from Atlanta in a win. There were a lot of ugly wins yesterday, and Atlanta was right there among them. 3 fumbles by Desmond Ridder, all in the red zone. First time that has happened in 45 years. First time a team has had 3 red zone turnovers of any kind in a game since Ryan Fitzpatrick in 2016 threw 3 interceptions. That may have been the game where against Kansas City. I can't remember which one, but I remember Fitzpatrick being just awful that year, and that was one of the. But somehow Atlanta was able to overcome all those errors. Ridder just having. I mean, it's just a shame because I root for the kid, but yeah, it's just this. I hope he can be better than this, but God, it's just the errors, just all the mistakes. It's just infuriating. And not being probably should have used Bijan Robinson more than you did for whatever reason. Maybe he just wasn't healthy, but Atlanta still won the game, so that's all that really matters. Even though it was an ugly win, and I'm expecting that here in this spot. Atlanta on the road. It's going to be another bad win, but I expect a little bit more from Bijan in this game, and that will carry Atlanta to a victory. Give me the Falcons -1. The New Orleans Saints and the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are a point favorite. This is another one that I really went back and forth over because credit to the Colts on dropping 38, yesterday, whenever you're watching this, against Cleveland. The problem is they gave up 39, especially to Cleveland with a backup quarterback in PJ Walker. They were able to shut down Deshaun there for what was Deshaun, 1 for 5 today. So whenever Deshaun was out there, he wasn't very good, and then he got hurt and whatever happened there. But Cleveland gets the win. The Colts are going to be at home here for this game. And I know that I know I maybe shouldn't take New Orleans considering the fact that they really are very consistent right now. All season long, they've really struggled with their offense. They just have a lot of miscommunication problems, a lot of inconsistency. They should be better than they are. Derek Carr just 300 yards against Jacksonville last Thursday, but couldn't score. Drop passes in the end zone there late in the game. Had a chance to tie it up with Jacksonville, just couldn't get it done. Did score 24 points, but it wasn't enough in that spot. But I'm going to say for this game, in this spot, I got to take somebody, and I do think this is going to be another game. I mean, Gardner Minshew, for what he did yesterday, he still did have 4 turnovers. I expect that will carry over into this game, and I'm expecting the Saints to somehow pull out a win. I expect a good performance here from Derek Carr. And the Saints win this one, an ugly one, but the Saints get it done. Give me the Saints +1. The New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 12.5-point favorites. I said this to a couple friends of mine today. This was the prototypical Bill Belichick Patriots win. Everybody's counting them out. Bill should retire. Mac Jones is awful. Everybody's writing this team off. And they beat the Bills. They beat a pretty good Buffalo Bills team. And that gives Belichick his 300th win. I feel like I saw that Patriots win a lot under Brady, where everybody's starting to write them off, and then all of a sudden they just come in and just kill you. So that was a great win yesterday, but I don't expect that to carry into this game. Yes, rough performance out of Miami. I know that even though Miami's offense has been incredible, I should point out that all 5 of their wins have come against bad teams. So I still think they are a great team, a great offense, but yeah, both of their games against top-tier opponents have resulted in multiple score losses. So it's an issue there here. They struggled against Philadelphia. And there's going to be people who are going to be skeptical about this team going forward. I'm not going to be one of those. I don't think that they're the best team in the AFC, but this is the kind of game that there's going to be people that have doubts. Like, all right, can you beat a great team? This is not a great team. Even with the win today or yesterday, this is not a great team in New England. But I do expect Miami to win this one. I expect their front 7 to be credit to Miami front 7. They pressured Jalen 16 times. Sacking him 3 times, forcing 2 turnovers. So I expect that Miami front 7 to be dominant. And Tua and Tyreek Hill will run all over New England. Give me the Dolphins -12.5. They struggled against the Eagles. They will not struggle in this one. Against a bad team, Miami flounders. Is that even the right word? Whatever. Give me Miami -12.5. The MetLife Bowl. The New York Jets and the New York Giants. The Jets are 3-point favorites. Went back and forth on this one. Jets with an incredible upset last week against Philadelphia. I was so proud of them being able to pull that off. This defense is so amazing, and it just makes you think, why couldn't they have a quarterback? Why are they stuck with Zach Wilson? If this team had a great quarterback, if they had Rodgers and what we expected Rodgers to be, they could have been a serious contender this year. Maybe not to beat Kansas City, but they could have made a run. They could have had some noise. They could have made some noise. But no, we're stuck with Zach Wilson. But credit to them, this defense is elite. They make every great quarterback look mediocre. We saw that with Hurts. We saw that with Allen. We saw that with Mahomes. This team is special. Giants, happy today with their victory against Washington. Not a great, they won 14-7, but their offense scored a touchdown. Their offense scored 2 touchdowns. So something to be credit for. They sacked Washington 6 times. So it was an improvement for the Giants, but I'm still not a big believer in them. Thought about taking the Giants because this seems like a typical Jet loss where everybody's starting to build them up. 3-3, chance to go 500, maybe make a run, and then they just get blown out. Was thinking about that, but I decided in the end, I don't trust the Giants that much. So on the road, Jets -3, and we expect Daniel Jones to play in this game, but even if he does, I expect the Jets to win this one. Give me the Jets -3, and that defense, that defense against that offensive line, that should be ugly. That should be a disaster for Daniel Jones. Give me the Jets -3. Jones is going to be hurt again after this game. Give me the Jets -3. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Jaguars are a 1.5-point favorite. Jacksonville is a weird team to me. They just can't keep their offense going for 60 minutes. It's a real struggle. I don't know why this team, they always start off hot, And then they get really cold midway through the game. They allow their team, they allow the opponent to come back. Then they find a way to win. It's happened over and over and over again. Their defense is elite, 16 forced turnovers, but their offense is just not able to put it together for 60 minutes. It's a real issue here. Credit to Trevor Lawrence with a sprained ankle against New Orleans. Still ran for 63 yards. He was the leading rusher of the game. He even beat out Kamara. So impressive win there for Jacksonville, but I have concerns about them going forward long term. Steelers, talk about weird offenses. Just, my gosh. This team also cannot put it together for 60 minutes. First half, they had 3 points, 91 yards. And then in the second half, they scored touchdowns on 3 of their first 4 drives. Weird team. Entering Sunday, they've gained 791 yards in the second half to 550. 791 yards in the second half to 550 in the first, I believe that is. They average 5 yards per play in the second to 4 in the first. It's a weird team. Matt Canada, I feel so bad for Steelers fans. They have to put up with this, but thankfully they have a great defense. Thankfully they have an incredible linebacker in TJ Watt. First interception of the season, which set up the Steelers' first touchdown a couple plays later. So this should be a fun game between two really weird offenses. But I think the Jaguars offense will be a little less weird in this spot, and I expect Matt Canada to make some sort of boneheaded coaching move that will leave Steelers fans screaming his name and wanting him fired. Give me the Jaguars here, -1.5 on the road. This should be a very interesting, fun game in Pittsburgh, but the Jaguars get the edge. Give me Jacksonville -1.5. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. The Eagles are 6-point favorites on the road. Philadelphia, I was doubting them a little bit after the week before, and I shouldn't have done that because in this game, they took control over Miami. 6-1, 31 points against Miami. Jalen Hurts with another solid game. Every time you watch A.J. Brown, you just sit there and go, why the hell did Tennessee think it was a good idea to trade this guy? If I was Ryan Tannehill, I would bring that up every day. I would be bringing that up to the gym. How the hell could you have traded A.J. Brown? What a gift he's been. Hurts with a solid game. He did have a couple of bad mistakes, pick 6, 10 turnovers on the year, which is second to Desmond Ridder. He's got to protect the ball more, but he's still such a dynamic player that it's worth the mistakes, but you just hope that he can calm down on those mistakes there. But that was a big win for the Eagles against a tough opponent in Miami. Could be a potential Super Bowl preview down the road. One of the top 5 teams in football, and they were able to win by multiple scores. An impressive win. Washington just looked awful against the Giants, only scoring 7. Pretty bad performance there. I expect the Eagles in this spot to win this one going away. I know Washington's at home, but I expect with that Eagles offense for them to deliver, for them to step up and to get the victory. Give me the Eagles -6 on the road against Washington. The Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers. Texans are 3-point favorites. I take the Texans. Texans are not as bad as I thought they were, but they're still not great. Carolina, we don't need to go into them. Both teams coming off a bye. I'll go with the Texans. Whatever. The game is not interesting. The Cleveland Browns and the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites. Thought a lot about this one. I'm going to go with Cleveland here, even though there's no reason to. I don't know what the hell's going on with Deshaun Watson. He was awful in the first quarter. He exits the game after taking a shot from Onabingo from Indianapolis. They say he clears the concussion protocol, but it doesn't say why he doesn't. They didn't say why he didn't return. They don't say whether he injured his shoulder, but then after the game, they say, oh, he'll be back for next game. It's so weird what's going on with Deshaun. I wonder if he was getting a massage. Maybe that's why he couldn't come out there. But Cleveland gets the win, scoring 39 points. Credit to Walker for really stepping up there. Even though it wasn't the most pretty performance. Watson and Walker combined for 16 for 37, 166 yards, 2 interceptions, and no touchdowns. But they got the win. Myles Garrett, one of the best performances we've seen from him. First player since at least 2000 to have 2 sacks, force 2 fumbles, and block a field goal, all which led to 17 points for the Browns. And that blocked field goal was something special. An incredible play there. Seattle gets the win. I'm really concerned here about Geno. He's not the same Geno that we saw last year. He's been picked off. He has 3 interceptions in the last 2 games inside the 20. He hadn't had that at all before last week. And now he had one there in that game. He did throw 2 touchdown passes, but yeah, he had that 1 interception there. That was rough. So 3 interceptions, but 1 in the red zone. But yeah, something is not right here with Geno. Maybe they figured it out here. This is the kind of concern that I had for him when they signed that contract. I wasn't sure that he was going to be able to be consistent over a long period of time. He had a nice rookie year with Seattle. I know he's not a rookie, but could he do that in his second year? And he's been struggling here, but they've gotten a win here. So credit to Seattle on that front. And their run defense really struggled here in this game. Giving up 127 yards to Arizona, but they got the win. And in this game, I don't know why I'm taking Cleveland. There's no reason for me to take Cleveland. But in this spot, I just see this as another game where Geno struggles, and Sean Watson is able to show a little bit of that, of what makes him great when he wants to play great, when he's not getting massages. Give me the Browns plus 2.5. It's a weird game. It's an ugly game. And honestly, I had to take an underdog. I couldn't take all favorites. So this is one I'm like, you know what? I could see Cleveland pulling this off, just doing something crazy. Give me the Browns plus 2.5 over Seattle. The Kansas City Swifts and the Denver Broncos. The Swifts are 8-point favorites. I really believe that Taylor Swift has found the love of her life, and she's really all the way in, because she spent an entire 3-hour football game with Jackson Mahomes. That is all the proof I need that she is in love with that man. That you spend 3 hours with that guy a couple days before he goes to court for a sexual assault case. I give her credit. She's in love. And you know what? Travis Kelce is playing amazing football right now, and maybe because he knows that, you know, someone special is watching him right now, but he's been playing great. Kansas City is 5-0 in the Taylor Swift era. Kelce, since in the last 3 games, Kelce 31 catches for 370 yards, 2 touchdowns. Arguably his best game of the season here yesterday. 12 passes for 179 yards and a touchdown. This is the Kansas City offense that we have expected. I've been waiting for this offense to show up all year against a good team, and we can argue about how great the Chargers are, but they are a talented team. In this game, 31 points. Kelce looking great. This is the kind of game that made me think, okay, Kansas City is legit. And I believe Kansas City is right now the Super Bowl favorite. They have become the Super Bowl favorite once again in Vegas. So they're certainly a Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl. Seems like a very, very distinct possibility here. We'll see how it goes all in the year. We'll see how that plays out. But for now, Kansas City's offense looked like vintage Kansas City Chiefs offense here in this game. Denver, yeah, they got a win, but it was a terrible, terrible win. I expect the Swifts to dominate in this one here against a pretty mediocre Denver team. Pretty mediocre is being kind. Give me the Swifts -8. The Baltimore Ravens and the Arizona Cardinals. The Ravens are 8-point favorites. That was an whooping that the Ravens gave to Detroit. I'll take the L on this. I took Detroit in this game. I was having some questions about the Ravens, and I felt like an idiot the moment this game started. That was the kind of game that makes you think the Ravens are a legit Super Bowl contender. They go up against a Detroit team that was tied for the best record in the NFL. They had 4 straight wins by double digits, and by the second quarter, that game was over. They had a 28-point lead in the first half. That was maybe the best Lamar we have seen in 3-4 years. That may have been the best performance we've seen from him. It was a sensational performance. Touchdowns on his first 4 drives, 357 yards, his second most passing yards, 3 touchdowns for the first time. He threw 3 touchdowns for the first time since week 3 of last year. 3rd largest margin of victory against a team with the NFL's best record entering week 7 or later. Just an all-around dominant performance from this Ravens team. And I expect that to continue here against Arizona, who just lost to Seattle. Perfect opportunity to continue that. I think this will be a dominant display from this Ravens offense. Give me the Ravens -8 to continue the beatdown over Arizona. The Chicago Bears and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers are 9-point favorites. Ooh. The Bears, credit to them. Rookie quarterback got the win, scoring 30. The Chargers, man, it's just Brandon Staley, count your days. If they lose this game against the Bears, I think it is immediate firing from this team. This is going to be an ugly Sunday night game. I hope there's a baseball game on so I don't have to watch this. Chargers, man, they should be so much better than they are. And I don't know if all the blame's on her, but I think a lot of the blame goes to Staley. He constantly had these guys underperforming. Couldn't stop Mahomes at all. Couldn't stop Kelce. But it is Mahomes and Kelce. Defense forced turnovers, but the offense couldn't capitalize. 2-4. This team looks like they're not going to be making the playoffs. Maybe something can happen here. Pass defense was abysmal yesterday. I still think Herbert is a pretty good quarterback, but that was not the kind of performance that, you know, makes you believe that he's going to be a savior for this team this year. I just think he's in a bad situation. It's going to be a Matthew Stafford thing where he's going to go to a different team and he'll be able to figure it out. But I am taking the Bears in this game, not to win, but I do think the Bears cover because this seems like the prototypical Chargers game where they lose this, where it's way closer than it should be. The Bears might even win. And if the Bears win, yes, I expect Staley to get fired because it cannot get any lower than that. But 9 points, I think the Bears cover this one. Not that the Bears are a great team. It's just that the Chargers are a complete disappointment time and time again. Give me the Bears +9 over LA. And finally here today, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Detroit Lions. The Lions are 7.5-point favorites. Raiders, awful loss against the Bears. The Lions, on the other hand, this was a comeback to earth game. People thinking, oh, maybe the Lions, maybe they're one of the best teams in the NFL. And I still think they're a pretty good team. But I don't think one game changes that. But the Lions are back. They allowed the Ravens to score a touchdown on each of their first 4 possessions. 156 yards, passing yards they gave up to Lamar in the opening quarter alone. They allowed 500 total yards of offense to the Ravens. Jared Goff struggled a lot. A lot of pressure. The offensive line for the Lions was really bad yesterday. 33 for 53 passes, 284 yards, 337 total net yards for Detroit. It was a difficult performance, but I'm not ready to give up on this. It was one bad game. I expect them to turn it around here and bounce back. And they're going to be at home. They're going up against the Raiders. Who knows who the quarterback is going to be there. Give me the Lions -7.5 to bounce back in a big way. Dan Campbell is going to be able to rally the troops and get these guys a big win. Give me the Lions -7.5. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel and like to see, make sure you scroll down below. Before anyone asks in the comments, I will have predictions for the Vikings, Packers, and Bengals Niners games tomorrow. I just want to wait for that Monday night for Vikings Niners to happen on Monday night so that I can break that down and preview it on Tuesday. Take care. God bless. Thank you guys so much for watching, and a whole bunch of videos coming later this year on NFL, baseball videos coming all throughout the week. Stay tuned for this channel for more. Thank you guys for watching. Take care, and God bless.